life of Dr. Genaro Totik Diesto has been a legacy. And such legacy, we're looking forward that it will be multiplied. Hopefully from the family, or even not from the family, but even for us here at Central, that surely there will be more, okay, who could really give such life in the service of God, and also multiplying it right now through these memorial lectures.
To continue the vision and legacy of Dr. Totik, to bear much fruit through the lives of the workers of God, especially to CPBC pastors and workers. The annual Dr. Totik Diesto Jr. Memorial Lecture is held to honor his legacy, who espoused contextualization as the method of doing and thinking theology. Because of his love for his alma mater, the family made gifts in the following forms. First, the CPU College of Theology Scholarship Endowment Fund. The interest will be used to support the annual lecture. Second, the CPU College of Theology Scholarship Fund, still with a minimal interest for the scholarship. And third, the Dr. Diesto Library Collection. Totik always talked about the life of pastors in the Philippines and how he wished that these pastors be given the chance to go on vacation. Quote.
I am honored to welcome you to this 10th Genaro Totik Diesto Memorial Lecture. It is most humbling for me and my family to have the presence of people who have special places in Totik's life to share with us in the next 1.5 days what Totik's life stood for, and to help us get a glimpse of what endeavors and ministries Totik would have been involved with if he is with us today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm reading this poem written by the sister of Totik. It says, "My brother Genaro. Genaro Diesto Jr. is the name of my brother. My mom named him Junior, taken after her father. 1953 was the blessed year he was born. On the 30th day of March, one warm early morn. Family and friends fondly called him Totik, a combination of two words for tuto and duty. Tuto in Ilonggo is an endearing name or title, and dutik in our language means very small or little.
I am honored to have been invited as one of the presenters in this annual Totik Diesto Memorial Lecture. An initiative such as this one is essential for the Christian community, for it does not only perpetuate our memory of our departed colleague, Totik Diesto, as a pastor, a theologian, and a prophet for social justice. This annual lecture likewise provides opportunities for the continuing education of pastors. Therefore, I am most grateful to the family of Nong Totik Diesto, Nang Jean, and his children for launching the Totik Diesto Memorial Lecture. The last time I heard Totik Diesto deliver a reflection as a pastor was during the centennial celebration of the university, when we hired Negros Navigation ship to travel from here to Boracay as part of the centennial celebration. Then he delivered a very passionate message. Before he left for the US, Nong Totik told me that he wanted to come back to CPU to share his expertise as a scholar. I promised him a position to teach courses in contextual theology. That plan, however, was not realized. His ailing body prevented him from coming back to his alma mater until he passed away. However, Totik Diesto left an important legacy for us to consider in our respective areas of ministries. And I believe that his work on contextualization will remain a lasting resource to those who seek to develop a contextualized theology or Filipino theology, an important contribution to the Convention of Philippine Baptist Churches and all schools in Asia. Therefore, my reflection today is entitled From Captivity to Contextuality, revisiting Totik Diesto's theological construction.
Today's lecture is on toward decolonizing colonial mentality. But as I was thinking after sending this to Dr. Pagara, I said probably a better way to entitle this is Totik's what I would call prophetic vision. And I think if you read his dissertation, there's a lot more than just words. There's a lot of stuff that we can really apply, especially in this area of contextualization. Let me start. One of the key themes in Totik's dissertation is the concern that he had for what we call colonial mentality. In fact, the problem that his dissertation sought to address is the effect of colonial mentality has had on the religious consciousness of the Filipino, especially those belonging to the CPBC. So this is very local here, what we'll be talking about. I remember the many hours I would sit together with Totik at Fuller Theological Seminary and listen as to how he was delineating the core discourse of the thesis for his dissertation. And little did I know then that my own doctoral studies would actually be an extension of his. Even further from my mind at that time was the idea that one day I would actually be connected to CPBC.
The calling of the pastor. Maganda po kasi na bago natin makita yung challenges, it's very important before we look at the challenges in the ministry, we need to see this first, the calling of the pastor. In Galatians chapter 1, 13 to 17, dividing the passage into two, we see that the calling of the we see here the calling of the Apostle Paul. Tawag po sa kanya noon Saul, ang pangalan niya ay Saul. We can also see this in 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 12 to 26. So in these two passages, dividing the passages into two, we will see there the call that the pastor or that the Apostle Paul, then called Saul, was called to salvation. Ikaw at ako na nasa pastorate, tayo po ay first of all, bago po sa ministry, before we go to serving God, ay meron po tayong pagkatawag sa Panginoon.
Addressing the context, not theology arising from the context. The liberation theologians call this the praxis model. The object of our theology, that is knowledge, becomes determinative for the ways we know. Participating in the process of knowing, and in that one becomes involved with what is known to her or to him, and in contemporary hermeneutical language, the theological emphasis on knowledge as involvement, theology as involvement, is the subject of witness. In the hermeneutics of testimony, Paul recalled the French hermeneutician